Good morning, and welcome to another Set Tarot Day with Rook and Salon. I'm Rook.
Salon.
Okay.
I'm Rook, as you know.
Oh, dear God, this is going to be fun. And we are the Two Pondering Pagans, here today to bring you some more group tarot.
Pull that intro.
And we are ready to start. Don't come in messing up my mojo. We're going to have to correct that.
Look, I'm a new flow. I'm bringing a new flow and energy.
So today I am going to use this deck that was made, and I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. Just kidding. I am not using that deck. But I wanted everybody to see the picture of the little doggy that's on the deck of cards that we got.
Oh, so
that is
cute.
Miss VG, but we did get a deck of playing cards with our VG's Christmas pictures on it. That is not the deck I'm using today. The deck I'm actually using today is called Tarot of the Hidden Realms. It is Julia Jeffrey and Barbara Moore. So if you know anything about me, and I know Barbara Moore is more invested in the wordage and the written part of the books, which I really don't read. I do read the intros, and sometimes I will read on a couple of the cards, but usually I don't read, just not my thing. But every deck Barbara Moore is associated with, I like at some point. She's associated with Wizards, Steampunk, my favorite deck, and quite a few others. And they're always, almost always very similar, like non-bordered, blah, 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 blah. So I really like the decks that are associated with her. So that is the one I am using today. Rook, what are you using?
I am using the Lightseers Tarot. It's a lovely deck, as you'll see on the screen, with beautiful imagery and artistry. It is by Chris Ann.
Chris Ann.
Chris Ann.
So yeah, that is another beautiful deck. I actually use the Lightseers quite a bit. It's fun to read. It's modernized, but it's not like so modernized it loses its meaning. So I just really enjoy it. So good pick. So we're going to do the same thing we did last week. Well, not last week, the week before. And we're going to pull alternating cards. Excuse me. So general read for the next week, and let's see where the energies are. Remembering that just because we're saying energy for the next week and where we are doesn't mean it's limited to 7 days. This energy can go on for quite a bit of time. Energies shift and swirl, as we know, so just keep that in mind. Hopefully these messages will ring for some people that are out there listening, and I think we'll get started. I think I pulled the first card the last time we did this. So Rook, if you would like to pull the first card instead.
Yes, I will.
We'll get us started.
All right. All right. The first card for the week, the message is Knight of Swords. Swords. I can't say wands and swords.
You can't speak.
Like,
No, we got that.
can't speak. And I've had a little bit of coffee. So this week, you're going to have to take charge of a situation with a passion and a focus. Stop sitting around waiting for an answer. You know what to do, and you need to have that intention, focus, and energy and drive to go ahead and move it forward this week.
Great way to start. My first card is Queen of Wands. And to be honest with you, like, this is very, very fun at this point in time. The Queen of Wands is full of fire. She is full of energy and the way things need to be and to go into creation. She's the ultimate creator. We talked a little bit, I think, in service last week of, you know, where we're putting creation in our like week and how we're doing that, and how there's been so many changes and things are starting to kind of realign a little bit. Lots of things are stripping down to the bare bones to be built back up. And so the Queen of Wands is like right now, this week coming up, the energies going into the holidays is literally fire. It means create. This is a great time to do group creations. Get with the people that you care about and start putting things together. start making things, whether your creation is music, whether it's artistry of on paper or drawing or anything. Now is the time to actually do some of those creations and really push them forward, because the creative energy is going to be there, the muse is going to be there. So let's start working through that and get that energy going.
All right. The second card for me is going to be, oh, it's going to hurt this week. Three of Swords, I said at that time. It's going to hurt this week. Stay grounded, stay focused, and clear-headed. Be good to yourself this week to help you through whatever the tough situation is. I know it rings true for me yesterday. So it was a rough day. So be good to yourself. Do whatever you need to do. Healing, some bath salts, some Epsom salt bath. Take out that time and use water to soothe your emotions.
Yeah, so the Emperor is following that, and I pulled the Emperor a lot in recent readings from multiple different decks, and it still has the same air of that control and that organizational status, but I'm getting a little bit more feeling this time of the need and the presence of self-control in this upheaval that you're getting from these other cards. Now, like I said, the fiery creation, as we know, lots of times when we're in fiery creation, we kind of get locked in and we start going too deep, or things start happening. Throw that in with a couple of swords and you've got this upheaval where things can quickly get out of control. So the Emperor is telling you to pull in your self-control, make sure that you are paying attention to what's around you, tether yourself, ground yourself. Literally, you can do magical working where you can cord yourself or tether yourself to a tree, for example, so that whenever you feel like you're getting up and out a little twitchy, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm still tied to the tree. I can't go that far out. I can go a little bit, but I can't go too far. And it'll pull you back in. So use that self-control from the Emperor to keep things organized together, making sense, and kind of having that additional self-control that you're needing.
Great. Let's see what my third and final card for the week. What do we need to know? The Lovers. So after the heartache, maybe something devastating, with a relationship or emotional matters will happen. Take time to be aware and in tune of new relationships, professional or personal, or the opportunity to reconnect with someone. This is the time to do that, and that is what's going to help you through the rough time this week.
Yeah, and the final card is going to be the Magician. So first, before I even get into the Magician, I'm really noticing a lot of... I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Oh, it's a good card. I like that card.
It's my favorite. But you're going to see a lot of movement into the creation part of this again. So what you're hearing is the creative fire is going to burn really brightly, but it's going to cause some difficulty. You're going to have to start cutting some pieces out of it, making some decisions. It's going to be kind of crazy. You're going to make it through by pushing into that energy that Rook just talked about, and then finishing it with the Magician. It is still it's a no stop. That's what the Magician says. Like, you're still going to continue through this creative force. Now, in this particular deck, the Magician is really a representation of Cernunnos, or the Green Man, which again represents not just the forest, but it represents all of the things. The fire of creation. It's the wand, right? The male wand. It's the cup. It's the water or the lake that's in the forest that the animals drink from because they can't survive without water. It's the earth that they walk on. It's the air that they breathe. So when you talk about the Magician, you're bringing in all of the elements into that creativity. So I would really highlight that within all of this energy that feels like it's upheaval, that feels like things need to be controlled and like it's going to kind of suck. You have a lot of good energy in here too, with the Emperor saying just a little bit of self-control and tethering. You've got the Magician saying, it is okay to create. And the Queen of Wands, honestly, while she is going to fire you up into that creativity, the Queen of Wands is a very protective card. She will fire your instincts, and she'll get your creativity up, but she will also burn people that are going to stand in your way. So keep that in mind as you're kind of going through each of these energies and each of the things that's happening. But the Magician is ending the week out saying, you know, the energy is here to create still. I think it's very interesting if we look at these cards here, that my second and sixth or third or first and third cards, basically creative fire and then creative earth, with a mix of everything else in it, right? So that is very clear to me that you have your court card and a major arcana both saying creativity is the name of the game right now. And then my other court card, the Emperor, is the self-control, right? So you're adding all these things in to push together. And then with Rook's cards, that seem to be bringing in that energy of these things are going to well up, right? And then we're going to have to push them back down. They're going to well up. We're going to have to control them, keep them from going too crazy. So this is a self-control week. This week, I would say, my advice would be do a lot of grounding. And if you don't know how to do protection magic or protection bubbles through meditation, that's something I would recommend trying to learn if you don't know. And that, like I said earlier, tethering would probably be something that is good. It's actually fun to do tethering, and it's not hard. You can simply, what I do anyways, get a piece of rope, string, usually like a hemp cord or some kind of twine or jute, and go find a stick or a pine cone or both, but two pieces of something natural and the outside, and you tie them together, and you represent one would represent you, the stick would represent a tree, and then the pine cone would represent me, and I tie them together. So that gives me some flexibility depending on how long the cord is, but then I connect that in my imagination and in my magic to a real tree that's maybe in my yard or that I'm comfortable with, or even in my sacred grove. And then I have that connection, and I will carry that stick and pine cone either in my book bag or just somewhere nearby so that I always know that, wait a minute, I'm tethered. I'm not going to go out into the middle of nowhere. I'm in control of this. Any final comments?
No, I definitely like the idea of tethering. Good exercise.
Yeah, it's fun and it's easy. It is a type of sympathetic magic where you use something in place of you and something in place of something else to kind of create the connection. And then, of course, I would do it during meditation and probably in circle, but those things are going to help remind you and keep those connections together so that you don't wander too far off from your tree. So just be careful where you pick the tree from, because you don't want to pick a tree that's like, you know, in the middle of a bog marsh, unless that's where you want to be tethered. Because,
right.
Yeah, I would recommend one at home or one that you're comfortable with, or even one that's, again, in your sacred grove in your head. But so that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. You know, my biggest thing is if you have a different meaning that you read for the cards or something else that you felt or heard during the reading, please put a comment. I love to read the comments. The more is better. If you like this particular video and you want us to do more and continue this in this manner, please like it. That lets us know you want us to keep doing this, which we're going to continue doing anyway. And then subscribe, because, you know, the more subscribers we have, the more fun we have when we make our videos and the more interactions we get.
Yeah.
So that is all. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great weekend and a great week.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh, there's some smoke coming up there.